All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Lots of exciting things to talk about today. And we'll start off here talking about an Xbox-based dashboard that is coming over to Xbox Cloud Gaming on the web, the one that you can access through your browser, which I think is very cool. But before we do jump into it, if you are new here, you like daily gaming content, hit that subscribe button. And if you have been watching for a while and you like my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button, help the channel grow. Also check out my link to my Spotify, which is my audio version of the show that comes out a couple hours after the YouTube version. But we'll start off here. And as I said, the Xbox dashboard looks like it's making its way over to the web with party chat and more. And I mean, this discussion of Xbox taking their dashboard and putting it onto other devices, I think has really been popping up more and more as we talk about handhelds and the potential of Xbox making their own handheld and giving people that console experience, which as of right now, with things like the Lenovo Legion Go and the Asus ROG Ally, you're just getting that basic Windows experience, and it just isn't very good with controls, with controller buttons on a handheld. Be way better if there was something like SteamOS, which is with the Steam Deck. And even if you launch Steam on your Asus ROG Ally, you actually get that SteamOS. Having that as the main way you access and play your games on all of these PC handhelds, I think would be an awesome thing going forward for an Xbox handheld. But we have this here, which seems pretty cool. Microsoft is previewing a new Xbox Cloud Gaming interface, and they're doing it right now, which includes social features and UI you'd normally find on the Xbox dashboard. And the new interface includes access to a web version of the Xbox Party Chat, so you can use a browser to join a call with friends instead of the dedicated Xbox desktop and mobile apps. As of right now, you go on your phone, you open the desktop app, you can actually get into Party Chats, you can call people. It's pretty cool. But now you're actually going to be able to do this directly through your browser. There is a video here that gives you kind of just the overview of how it looks, and it looks very similar to what you would see when you would open up your Xbox with your game tiles on top and then some more information under that. Quickly can just run through some of it here, and you can see it has the Nexus menu or the Xbox menu, whatever you want to call it. When you push the Nexus button on your Xbox controller popping up on the side, you can see things like your recently played games, achievements, your friends list, your chats. All of those types of things are now going to be available here via the web browser, which is awesome to see. This is always something that I think has kind of hindered Xbox a little bit when expanding out to all of these multiple different devices, but they've done a very good job in the last little while of upgrading it and making it better. It's just the overall user interface, the overall user design, so people can have a good experience when they are accessing Xbox on these different screens. And I think this is a step in the right direction. Of course, they'll continue to update it, and I really hope that they are taking this as the core, as the base, and seeing how they can rework this and putting it on an Xbox handheld or just other devices with different size screens and different controls that you use to go ahead and access the Xbox ecosystem. I think it will make a huge difference in getting people to know when they jump on to one of these devices that has the Xbox ecosystem. It's convenient, it's easy, you jump right into a game, you don't have to worry about things just not working. So pretty cool to see here. Go check it out on Xbox Cloud Gaming and you'll see it for yourself. And overall, a nice experience here compared to what they previously had. And with that upgrade to the web, Xbox has also put out a new update for the Xbox app on PC. Another thing that they have continuously been upgrading. They now have a new kind of feature to it where you can see where all of the games are coming from. For example, if they are Game Pass, from Riot, from Battle.net, from EA Play, easily laid out now on the actual Xbox app on your PC, and they're making some even more changes here, which I think is a great thing. And right now it's saying here that game hubs are now available for all PC players. So game hubs, you can go down here. I've already experienced this on my Xbox app. It was there, I believe, for a while. Maybe it was in the preview or whatever, but it is pretty well done. They say today we're excited to share that all PC players can now enjoy Games Hub inside the Xbox app on PC. They say navigate to any game in your library or in the sidebar to track your progress, discover the latest content and add-ons, connect and compete with your friends, and get the latest news from developers. So you can see kind of what it is here. You go into a game, it's really nice. You see all the friends that are playing it, you see your achievements and your progress progress and all that type of stuff. And then you also see some other information that is pertinent to the game that you are playing. They also have this here with the how long to beat, as well as add-ons for the game and some notes and information from the developer that you see within the Games Hub. And there's also a new sub-navigation menu option for Xbox app on PC that is starting to roll out, which you can see on the left, where it has your Game Pass, your library, your cloud, your store, all of that stuff. And then you have the buttons on the main screen that break down where games are coming from. So PC games, Xbox Game Studios, EA Play, Riot Games, and then you can go and click through and see all of the different plans that are available within the PC app, because there are launchers that you have to download on Xbox Game Pass PC to be able to access games that are actually within Xbox Game Pass. It is a different experience than playing it on console, and I hope that at some point it's all just integrated as one easy way to access and play all these games. I think that would be much cooler, but there you have it, nicely and easily laid out. And the Xbox April console update is also starting to roll out, but it is nothing really too big here. One of the things is a Discord. It says if you're using Discord voice on your console, you'll now be able to hear soundboard audio, something we talked about in a previous video. You're now going to get soundboard audio in calls on Discord. They will be able to be used. You can also mute the soundboard if you don't want to hear that. And then there's just some other smaller things, nothing really too notable here, but cool to see them continuously upgrading and improving on the PC experience, because in my opinion it is far behind the console experience when it comes to the Xbox ecosystem. And when they get to a place where it's all cohesive, all one, and no matter what system you're on, you have pretty much the same experience, I think that will be better overall for the Xbox ecosystem. All right, let's talk about this, because this has been making the rounds. And there's discussion whether it's true or not, as we will get into further as we talk about it. And that is that Dead Space 2 remake is reportedly been shelved. Now, Dead Space, the first remake, came out to critical acclaim. A lot of people loved it. It was a game that EA and Motive did extremely well in bringing back a classic, and it was something that people celebrated. But apparently they don't want to go ahead and continue to make the second game as a remake. So this is what this says. This is from Jeff Grubb, who's been reporting this. And in fact, EA actually commented on this further, and we'll get into that. But it says that's according to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, who has discussed developer Motive's current projects following the news that EA has made the studio part of its wider Battlefield development team. So we did talk about this yesterday. EA Motive is going over to help work on Battlefield, and they've been known for lots of great games, like I said, the Dead Space remake, Star Wars Squadrons, the Battlefront series. If you enjoyed those games, there was also a lot of controversy with the Battlefront stuff, but they've worked on those types of games. They're taking their talents and they're going to go help make Battlefield, which I think realistically, this next Battlefield, they need to knock it out of the park at launch. I understand Battlefield 2042. A lot of people are telling me now that it's really good. I played it at launch. I wasn't a big fan. There's just too many glitches and stuff, but it really did progress and get better, which you see with a lot of games. But I think the next Battlefield needs to come out and be good at launch, and be able to take on a Call of Duty at launch and really bring back that competition between first-person shooters. But here is what he says about Dead Space 2. He says they were working on Dead Space 2, and they are no longer working on it. It is on the shelf because the first game had lackluster sales. It is how it was phrased to me, which is kind of surprising, because I just saw tons of excitement and everyone talking about the first Dead Space remake. I'm surprised that the sales were so lackluster. It's a game also you can play now in Xbox Game Pass. So generally we do see that from EA games. They come over to Game Pass months after they are released. So I don't think that was like a special reason why it came to Game Pass. I don't think it was because of the sales. I think it's just part of the EA and Xbox partnership there. But I'm surprised that the sales were so lackluster that they wouldn't even consider making a Dead Space 2. But that's kind of what's happening here, according to what Jeff Grubb has heard. So that's still up in the air, though, if that is actually true, if they were working on it or not, because we do have this, and I guess you get to choose who you want to believe in this situation. But we have Shinobi602 with a link to an article here saying that EA has shot down a rumor the Dead Space 2 remake was in development and canceled. Basically, they're saying there is no validity to this story. And then you have Jeff Grubb actually responding to that, saying, I give you my permission to believe EA if you want, but whenever a company says that isn't true, but they don't specify which part of the story they are talking about, well, yeah, Dead Space 2 is definitely being planned. It had a code name, and they aren't making it now. So who knows exactly what the truth of this is. I mean, it could be from they were truly planning on making Dead Space 2 to they just thought about it and they realized that they didn't want to move forward any further than just having a code name, or was it further in development and then they decided to stop developing it to focus on something like Battlefield after some numbers came in. Like, we don't know the extent of what this means, but I think a lot of people hearing this, especially if they were fans of the first Dead Space and the remake, will be disappointed to hear that the Dead Space 2 remake was in development and now it is not, because they did a great job with the first one. And I think that they could have continued this for the rest of the series. And I was surprised to hear the sales were lackluster, at least based off of the hype that was surrounding it. I guess the hype was a lot bigger than what people were actually going out and paying to buy the game. So unfortunate, no Dead Space 2 remake coming out. Now, when it comes to Ubisoft, we talked about some Ubisoft yesterday when it's Star Wars Outlaws, all the controversy around that game. Again, another unfortunate thing because I thought the game looked good, but they want the internet only or internet required to play the game or to download the game, which is a whole other debate. I gave you my thoughts on that yesterday. Basically, there's no one, the debate whether it's physical versus digital in the future anymore is completely over. Less than 5%, I believe, was the number of people that are actually buying physical games from in the US, which is crazy. As somebody who has physical games, I still buy physical games. I have a mixture of digital and physical, of course. I have like 900 plus digital games on my Xbox, but I still like having physical media for games that I truly love and games that I can put on my shelf, and just I like that look of having games on your shelf. But it's really over. It's really over when it comes to the future of gaming. It is going to be all digital, and there are drawbacks to that. Like in the sense that you don't really own the game at any time. A lot of these game servers could go offline and then people won't be able to access them. Game preservation is an issue. All of that type of stuff plays into this future of gaming. We'll see how it does work out. But Ubisoft is also coming out with some more stuff. And I mean, they've been hitting and missing and all over the place, but they've actually had some great titles so far this year with Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, which was a phenomenal action side-scrolling Metroidvania game in the Prince of Persia universe. And they are releasing another game with the Prince of Persia IP that is going to have early access available on Steam on May 14th. And they are making it with Studio Evil, the team that was behind Dead Cells. They're making this rogue Prince of Persia game. You can see it for yourself here. You can see the graphic style they are going for, as well as the gameplay. And I think this game looks phenomenal. I think it looks really good. Definitely one I will be playing, especially because for me, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is one of my favorite games to be released this year. It'll probably be in my game of the year list. And seeing how good this one looks, it's great. I'm happy that they are making more of these smaller games with these IPs, especially with Prince of Persia, which to me is a no-brainer to make some side-scrolling stuff. I was really hoping they would continue to do this after Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. They specifically are saying with the success of that game, they are coming out here and making this game with Studio Evil. So cool to see that. Steam Early Access is May 14th. So if you want to play that game, make sure to check that out. And that's not all. Prince of Persia Remake, which is, I think, when they showed off The Lost Crown, there was a lot of hate towards that game. I think unwarranted, because people were hating on it because they just really want that remake game. I don't think they were directly hating on the game itself from what was shown off, because what was shown off I thought was good, but I think they were just mad because there was no remake. And we have more information here about Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, which, don't get me wrong, I absolutely want this, and I've been waiting for this for a while, but apparently it's completely different. Everything we know about the game can be thrown out the window. This is according to Insider Gaming. We'll go through this article. It says it was first announced over 3 years ago, and ever since the game has been pushed back time and time again. In May 2022, it was announced that the game would be moving from Ubisoft Pune to Ubisoft Mumbai to Montreal, with the game's latest update from Ubisoft stating that it had passed an important milestone. Official details on what the important milestone entails are unclear, but Insider Gaming has learned several details on what to expect from the game. So they say, first, forget everything you've seen or heard from the reveal trailer, as the remake has been remade from scratch. So the remake was in development, then they're remaking the remake. I guess they didn't like what they had there. They say Ubisoft's official announcement on the change of developer said that Montreal would be building upon the work already done by Mumbai and Pune, but from what we've been able to gather, it's been completely redone. Footage sent to Insider Gaming under the condition that does not go public shows the game is somewhat still in an early stage, missing textures, assets, and it is unfortunately likely a ways off from release. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be very annoyed to hear that, as they are going to have to wait far longer to play the remake of the Sands of Time, but it kind of makes sense why we're seeing these smaller Prince of Persia titles pop up. They're trying to fill that void for people who want this IP and want this franchise with these smaller titles that they know they're going to be able to get out in a shorter period of time. It says Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake overhaul also includes a realistic approach. Everything has been built from the ground up, which includes a complete graphical overhaul, new animation and mechanics from combat and parkour, and much more. And starting from scratch has meant that the game has been rewritten, recaptured in mocap, and more. And one of the biggest notable changes for longtime Prince of Persia fans is that Yuri Lowenthal, the voice behind the Prince of Persia in the original, will no longer be reprising his role, despite him doing so in the original reveal trailer and during the remake's original development. It's not entirely clear why Lowenthal is no longer on the project, and several sources have suggested that the company could give a more prominent update on the project soon. So there you have it. Prince of Persia the remake is being remade again from the ground up because they didn't like what they previously had. This game is going to be out for a while, and that's something that's going to disappoint a lot of people. But at least if you're somebody like me, I'm pretty happy with what they have been giving us with Lost Crown, and hopefully I'll be happy with this other rogue Prince of Persia that they are releasing, and maybe there'll be some other projects that they do come out before the remake finally drops and we finally get to see it. But if it takes them longer and they're adding all this extra stuff into it and they're really making sure that they don't miss on it, I'm all for that. I don't want them to rush out this game and then it's a lackluster remake, and that's going to be way worse than taking some extra time in order to make sure that the game is developed properly. All right, let's talk about $70 games, because that has hit the mainstream for everyone really this generation. It started off with a few games and a few publishers putting them out there, and then everyone followed suit. But Saber Interactive CEO thinks the $70 games and the prices of them will be going away. This is what he thinks. He says, I think that as games become more expensive to make, the $70 title is going to go the way of the dodo. I just don't think it's sustainable. I think the market is going to shift to development, which is not necessarily lower quality, but there's going to be an emphasis on trying to find ways to reduce costs. And that is an interesting take. I kind of agree with that take, in the sense that we're going to be seeing smaller games, and the market's expectations are going to shift when they start seeing a lot more smaller games coming out from major publishers, that they don't want to spend $70 on those games if they're not these big AAA, high graphical fidelity, ultra realistic releases. People are not going to want to be spending $70 on them. And with the rising cost, 300 plus million, and what we've seen throughout the industry, especially at the beginning of this year with the shrinkage, the layoffs, the cancellations, the games industry is going to start making some shifts to really get back to some more profitable releases. And that's going to be smaller games and potentially cheaper games, maybe $50 for the release. And honestly, I am all for that. I like a lot of these smaller games that are coming out. I don't always need that massive, huge AAA game every time a publisher puts things out. I mean, we were just talking about Prince of Persia and how much I enjoyed that, and I would love to see other IPs have smaller spin-offs there for a cheaper price, a shorter game in length, and allows you to experience more than just a couple of massive big AAAs throughout the year. So we'll see if that truly does happen, when we will start seeing that shift to kind of the shrinkage in the scope of games that do come out. But with that, I think we will start seeing cheaper games overall. I mean, Hellblade is coming out. That is a huge game graphically, but it is a shorter game, smaller game overall, and they're releasing it for $50. I think we'll probably start seeing more of that as we do move forward into the next upcoming years. All right, now we'll end off here with a couple of more things, some announcements, some cool announcements on these games if you enjoy them. Palworld put out a new trailer, and we know the phenomenon of Palworld and just how huge it was when it released. They're putting out a new game mode, a new style twist on the game called Pal Arena. They're saying coming in 2024, and you're battling against other players, pitting both yourself and your pals against them. They have a quick trailer here. This looks like absolute chaos with the pals and yourself within the game with your weapons and everyone just fighting within this arena. It looks pretty cool. It's kind of something I think I would enjoy playing, just giving a variation, bringing more content to this game to keep it alive and to revitalize it or to rejuvenate it if people have fallen off from playing when it did originally come out. One of the most successful games this year, and I think it will continue to be successful as they put out more content. We'll talk about this year. EA Electronic Arts, they're raising the price of EA Play, their subscription service. And not surprising, we're continuously seeing subscription service raise prices. We've seen Xbox, we've seen PlayStation, we've seen all the other subscriptions out there that aren't gaming, their prices going up. And EA Play now is following suit. And it says here, as reported by GamesIndustry.biz, the standard EA Play tier is rising from $4.99 to $5.99, so just a $1 raise. And the annual fee is increasing from $29.99 to $39.99. That's a $10 raise. And the price of a monthly EA Play Pro subscription is increasing from $14.99 to $16.99, so $2. And the annual membership rising from $99 or $100 to $120, so a $20 raise. So there are some raises here for the subscription of EA Play if you're somebody who is subscribed to that. Obviously, the bigger raises are coming on the more expensive, more pro plans, the annual memberships. $20 a year, $10 a year. If you're enjoying the service, I don't know how many people would unsubscribe because of that, but we will obviously wait and see. It's something that I think we're going to continue to see a lot of these subscriptions go up. Maybe we'll see again the Ubisoft one go up, and what other subscriptions out there go up. Maybe NVIDIA GeForce Now. Like, you never know. As the industry again has been going through some rough times, all these companies need to increase their profit margins, and I think this is kind of inevitable as we go forward and as more games come into these subscription services. Handhelds have taken off PC handhelds, and one of those big PC handhelds has been the Lenovo Legion Go, which is really cool. It kind of differentiates itself because it has the detachable controllers, has a bigger screen, but it looks like they're going for even more now, and they've confirmed that they are actually working on the Lenovo Legion Go 2 with even more features. So basically, this was shared during a round table, basically an informal question and answer session where at Lenovo, and the info came in light thanks to attendee and journalist Chris Steed talking about it on their YouTube channel. And this is specifically what was said. We are very heartened by the response we have for Legion Go. I can say that when we were first developing the product amongst the gaming market, there is primarily much smaller screens. It was not an easy decision to go with an 8.8 inch screen. We are the largest gaming handheld, but has been received very well. Asia specific, we are very heartened by the response that we have from the market that we have launched in, and says we are still spending a lot of resources improving the current Legion Go. We are still spending a lot of resources over the span of the last 6 months since launch. We have unlocked from day one till now a lot more experiences, and there are still engineering efforts to try to bring the next wave of features to the product. So definitely it's a product category that we do see potential in, and we continue to invest, and we are looking forward to when the time comes right. Of course, we have the next generation to provide even more features and better features. So they are working on a second version of the Lenovo Legion Go. I wonder when they are going to release it. I wonder how long do these handhelds have in the market before they do put up an upgraded version? How many years they go? It'll be shorter than the console lifespan because they're PCs and they're continuously upgrading, trying to get more power out of them, trying to improve things on it, like the battery life, which would be the main thing for me. Is when are we going to start seeing one of these PC handhelds with an actually good battery life that makes it seriously portable? Because as of right now, a lot of people probably always have their plugs that have it plugged in when they're playing it because they die so fast. So I think that, to me, is going to be the biggest thing I look for in these next wave and the next gen of these PC handhelds. So keep your eyes open for a Lenovo Legion Go 2 at some point whenever they do decide to announce it. Bungie, they are working on Destiny 3, apparently under code name Payback. It says in a new report by Force, Paul Tassi added support to an old rumor Reddit which claimed that Bungie might be developing Destiny 3 under the code name Payback. Now, there's no confirmation outright of this rumor, but instead they acknowledge that the Reddit post correctly predicted a prism system that allows players to mix and match abilities from different subclasses. So keep your eyes out for Destiny 3. They just showed off a look at their upcoming expansion, which is coming out in June. As we know, the whole thing around Bungie with PlayStation, the expansion being delayed, Marathon, we don't know when that's coming out, and Hiroki Totoki commenting on how they do their business. I don't think was very pleased about it overall. So Bungie is in a weird spot right now, but a Destiny 3 could be pretty huge, not only for them, but also for PlayStation to get more of those games as they service multiplayer games and have something that's continuously bringing in money to their ecosystem to be able to expand it out and continue to make their first party games outside of what Bungie is going to be developing. And then finally, we talked about this yesterday. Said it was going to be coming today, more than likely, and it has. It came actually late last night, but it's official. Blizzard is back in the Chinese market as they came to an agreement. This is Phil Spencer tweeting out, "Thanks to the incredible work done by Blizzard and NetEase to renew our commitment to players, we will soon welcome back millions of community members in China to our Blizzard universe. This is exciting for everyone at Xbox, Blizzard, and for players everywhere." So all the games that are going to be coming over from Xbox and Blizzard to the Chinese market, they mention them here. World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, and other titles in the Warcraft, Overwatch, Diablo, and StarCraft universes. So this publishing deal, they hadn't got a game since 2023. The Blizzard games are now going to be back entering the Chinese market, which at the end of the day, if you're Xbox, you're wanting to expand and make more money in those markets, I'm not surprised that this ended up happening. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.